Joshua Medin, bienvenidos, welcome. Well, my attempts to spruce up my living space continue, slowly but surely. This time I turned my attention to medicine. You see, I have to take a few prescription medications, and well, the typical storage solution for that here in the USA leaves a little to be desired when it comes to style. So, I decided to change that. Taking a cue from the delightful Aurelio Voltaire, I decided to put my medications in apothecary jars. So it was off to Michael's, where I picked up a few glass jars and one wooden box. Then I painted them black. With the jars, I used spray paint, but I used a plain old paintbrush on the box because I didn't want to cover up the hinges and fastener. Anyway, with that done, it was time to make the labels. Originally, I was planning to make the labels entirely with a computer, but I don't know, I just wasn't very satisfied with the results. So I did it the old-fashioned way, mostly. I actually hand-painted the names of the medications on canvas. I also wrote out a few humorous blurbs in pen, even drew up some illustrations and flourishes to go along with them. Then I scanned them all into the computer to arrange them, adjust the coloring. So yeah, there was a little computer work done, but nearly all the visual elements of the labels were done by hand. Then I printed out the labels and stuck them on the containers. I had a little trouble at first because I tried to use Mod Podge, and well, it didn't quite work right. I'm not sure if I applied it improperly or if Mod Podge goes bad, but it didn't stick very well to the jars, and it resulted in these white streaks that, faded the labels. So instead I used a spray adhesive. I made a mistake with that too. You see, I didn't just spray the back of the labels, I also sprayed the jars. So that left a little sticky residue around the labels. I wasn't quite sure how to clean off that residue without also stripping off the paint. So that little tacky residue for now is going to stay. Oh well. In the case of the wooden box, I used a plain old glue stick. It worked a lot better. Now I will say that my approach in making the labels was a little different from how Voltaire did it. Namely, he was just coming up with the wildest, funniest, macabre names he could think of for strange medicines, and they didn't really provide any kind of clue as to the contents of the containers. So he just had to memorize what he was putting in each jar. While I also wanted humorous and macabre labels, I also tried to come up with names that suggested what was in the containers. And, well, I'll leave it up to you to figure out what I mean by blood bitters and home bloodletting kit. And here is the result. I don't know about you, but I think they look pretty darn snazzy, although the label on one jar is a little lopsided, but I still think it looks pretty good. Thank you all for watching. If you're interested, you can go to my Zazzle store and buy these labels as stickers. I'll also include a link to the particular episode of Gothic homemaking that Aurelio Voltaire made that gave me the inspiration for this little project. So, until next time, Khodafez, adios, and goodbye.